Hello, and welcome to this episode of Hobby Shops and Pop Culture in the Metro. We are here at Ben's Game Zone's location here in La Vista, right off of 84th Street, and we're here to take a look and talk to Ben himself on what type of games and fun activities we can find at his store. Let's take a look. My name is Wesley Weeks. Join me as we visit a variety of pop culture and hobby shops that can be found in the Omaha area that will spark your interest and inner child as we look at the world of plastic models, video games, comic books, trading cards, and beyond. Sit back as we discover pop culture and hobby shops of the Metro. As you can see, there are a lot of people here on this busy Saturday day. Right now they have a whole bunch of PlayStation Vita and Nintendo Switch games. And there are a lot of special edition stuff here too. So this is a pretty good time for any of you major gamers out there to come in and snag maybe a collector's edition that you were unable to get for your pre-orders. So they have a whole bunch of different things, from Zelda to even anime games such as Psycho Pass, which is a real mind teaser. I'm here with Ben. He's taken some time out of his busy schedule to give us a inside depth in his shop here. So Ben, tell us a little bit about your shop here.
I'm Ben from Ben's Game Zone. We've been running the store for 13 years now. My passion for video games has kind of brought us to this point. Kind of just started out as a little thrift store, and where we had everything was $1, and we had little boxes of video games in the back which said, "You want to see our 6 PS2 games?" or things like that. We also started out when Craigslist had first started. We kind of went around to maybe do 10 pickups a day or something like that when people were like genuinely cleaning out closets. Nowadays that'd be a lot harder to accomplish. But we just we're really honest. We give fair prices for trades, and we just we'll let people know if there's a $40 game that's terrible and a $20 game that's good. We'll tell them, hey, take the $20 game.
Oh, that is really honest. You don't see that very often with a lot of places. But a lot of these, because you're a mom and pop shop basically, so you own your own business, you're your own boss. So that was actually kind of cool how you decided to do this as a career.
Yes.
Another thing is I've seen so many retro video games that you have here. It's like, what all the retro games do you actually have?
Well, when we first started, our goal was to be kind of like what Blockbuster was. When I was a kid, there was nothing more special than going on a Friday. My parents would bring me down and say, "Hey, we can get one new release or the 5 for $5," and I was, I could have stayed there for hours just looking at the backs of things. And a lot in this day and age, everybody's wanting to order things online or digital, and there's just no, there's something about going and looking at the items and physically putting it in your hands. That's different, and that's the one thing we've really been after. Because a lot of this stuff, a lot of people say, well, why don't you just sell it on eBay? And said, no, that wouldn't be the fun for people. I mean, a lot of the fun is the experience. Coming to see
because I remember going there too, at Blockbusters and stuff, and getting those one little video games and stuff. My parents knew a little bit more about video games. They probably would have got some more.
Yep.
Because I've also noticed you just don't do video games either. I've seen some DVDs, sold VHSs.
Yep.
So you're really catering to a whole range of different pop culture and stuff like that. So what really draws in the customers a little bit more for you?
Well, video games are our main thing, but we, movies are kind of more of a complement. The movies probably wouldn't be able to make it on their own, but we do we try to just do anything that's pop culture era. Like we have board games and pop figures and sports shirts, comic books, action figures, just a wide range of different things.
Yeah, you know me personally on the figures that I've bought, so I can kind of help you out in that regards. Do you do anything to cater to any of your customers? Like, do you host any events?
We do. We do video game tournaments. We like to do them about every 3 months, but it's been kind of more like about once a year or so. But we'll do like Mario Kart tournaments or things where we'll bring in like 8 tube TVs and hook up like an N64 system with 32 controllers and host a big event like that. We also do a lot of like fundraising things for different people.
That's kind of cool. So I have to ask, since you're a big gamer, I take it. What was your favorite? What was your first game?
My first game?
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, when we were younger, my mom always said, "Well, video games won't amount to much." And then a few years back, she needed a job, and so she came and worked with us. It was kind of ironic, but we had to sit my parents down when we were about 16 and said, "Look, Mom, we get good grades. Can we get a video game system?" She said, "All right." So we finally went and got a video game system. I would say my first one was probably Tetris on the Game Boy. Or Zelda, Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, and Genesis. We had Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff like that. So
cool. So if you don't mind, you want to take us on a deep dive of a little tour of of your shop here?
Sure. Yeah,
all
we can
right.
do that.
So when we get back, we will take a look at all the wonderful games and other fun little pop culture things that we can find here at Ben's Game Zone. But before we go, a question for you guys.
All right, I got a question for you. So, what was the first video game ever made? All right, so you guys ready for a tour?
Yeah, we're ready for it.
All right. So first, we one of our biggest things is we try to have all the cartridge games. So anything that's on the counter is what has come in the last day or two. Everything else we got. So we got original Nintendo down here. The next cabinet down, we got Super Nintendo. Over here is our Amiibo wall. We kind of switched this up with a few different things, but right now Amiibos are kind of what everybody wants. We got some board games there. This is our anime section here. This is our wall of harder to find movies, like most of them that we usually put around $5 or $7, or trilogy packs, things like that. Right here we have Super Nintendo. And then behind you is our first rack. We got Wii and Wii U. And then we have Switch that you can tell has definitely been depleted, but over here on the counter is all the new Switch games. So we just kind of bring these things in, we leave them on the counter for a day, and then we put them out. We got Game Boy Advance underneath here. Right behind you we have all the DS box games. And then here is the start of the DS Loose. All right, and then we have our system wall here. This is where we put any of the special edition, any regular systems are always on here. Then we put our special edition stuff up here. This is kind of our different unique rack, things that we don't really want to put out on the floor that maybe we put behind here, whether it's because they're special edition or we don't want the seals to break, things like that. Here we got N64. Sega Genesis, boxed and loose. Then we have the other rack of the DS, and then 3DS right by it. We got our original Game Boy and Game Boy Color rack. Okay, and then on this side we have 4K movies and our other half of children's movies. And this is the other half of the children's movies right here.
Switch, Vita, some new stuff.
3DS boxed. And then if you want, we'll go down this lane here. We got one wall of Xbox 360 and the other wall of PS3. And then we got Xbox One and PlayStation 4. And then if you look on the windows, we have all of our Skylanders and Infinity characters.
You know, Mom, I don't like it again. I don't like it.
And then, like we take pride in our movie wall. So this is our VHS wall where everything is $1. We kind of have them sectioned out in an alphabetical order. That's one of our big things that we like to do. We're very anal about making sure that like any discs for our DVDs are mint, and we all keep DVDs at $2 a piece, VHS at $1 a piece. So if you come down like this, you can see this whole row is just all in alphabetical order, going one way and then coming back the other way. These are all going to be. These are all going to be really, standard titles, but really good titles.
Soon though, hopefully. I mean, we don't have any games right now. So.
And if you look down here, we also have. This is also more of the $2 movies. That kind of goes probably N through Z. And then over here is our other half of the VHS wall. We got our classic section. We have the westerns, horror. Then our Disney VHS. And we have our music genre right here.
Yeah, no worries.
We try to put a little bit of everything, so we don't just have CDs. If you notice down there, we like to have like cassette tapes, some beta, 8-track records, anything that we can kind of, if somebody gets one of the systems, we like to have at least something for somebody to try it out with. Okay, over here we have our PlayStation 2 wall.
Cool.
This is all PlayStation 2 and PSP here. And then this, if you kind of just take a shot from over there, that whole wall over there and over here is all seasons. And then we have Sega CD, Dreamcast, and 3DO. We got PlayStation 1 in this whole rack here. Sega Saturn, PlayStation Vita, GameCube. And then with the seasons, we have regular seasons over there. This is more like Blu-ray seasons, things like that, both of these racks. And over here is the other half of the Disney or kids section of VHS. Up top you have a lot of like the multi-packs. And then this section over here is kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of different things. Our big Blu-ray section covers all these racks right here. We do a lot of pop figures. That's what those. And then we have like laser discs, manga, regular books, graphic novels. We have like wrestling figures, just a lot of different collectible items. And then if you come over here, we have, we kind of do a lot of board games. We have like sports shirts or video game shirts. We also have an arcade back here for people. Vending machine, pop. That's mainly, because, when I was little, I used to love going into Skateland and playing Turtles in Time or Simpsons. And it was, figured we'd have a lot of people that would want to do that. We have posters. This is our strategy guide wall. And I think that's about it.
Thank you so much, Ben, for taking time out of your busy schedule to give us your tour of your wonderful shop here.
No problem. We'd love to help out the community.
Yeah, I love how you cater to so many different pop culture and gamers to the point where you're probably not helping them out too much for their wallets. Speaking of wallets, got a quarter for we can play this one?
Well, how about for the one that works?
Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed Ben's Game Zone as much as I did as we explored the world of video games from the old classic retro Nintendo to the brand new PlayStation 5 video games and any other new games on the market. Speaking of games, I even managed to find 2 games for myself. One for my PlayStation Vita and one for my Nintendo Switch at home to add more to my video game collection. I'm Wesley Weeks, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode as we continue to explore pop culture and hobby shops of the Metro. Until then, see you next time.